What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Eric Threet II. We're halfway through our season, so we have to come to a new place. I'm out in Reedsville. We have a new segment this week with 2K ratings. We're bringing Rebound back. My only purpose here is so I can drop a bucket with a boot on. God. Thank you for watching, though. I appreciate it. Can't make them all. No excuses though. I'm not going to let my boot hold me back, but I'll be back to dropping buckets in 3 to 6 weeks. Yes, I kind of contradicted myself, but whatever. We're going to move on. We have more important things to discuss tonight. There are about 3 weeks left for both the boys and the girls are finished with their regular season, so let's peep the Tri-Valley Conference standings as of Friday. Now, there's a little bit of a twist on the standings today. Next to each team is our video game rating of that team. Let's start with the Hawking. Waterford, Eastern, and then there's everybody else. Both teams are dominant on offense and defense, but I believe the Lady Wildcats have a more efficient half-court offense. Now, I gave Federal Hawking a better rating than Southern because the Lady Tornadoes have lost 7 of their last 11, while Fed Hawk has won 6 of their last 9. The Lady White Falcons are in last, but in West Virginia, they're one of the best teams in their district. The Waterford boys are top 10 in the state, a potent and well-balanced offense, but watch out for Miller, though. 5 wins in a row moves them up into the 80s. Now, Belpre, Wahama, and Eastern have an entertaining battle going on there, and then there goes the Fed Hawk Lancers. However, still undefeated in the TVC Ohio, the Lady Spartans have a strong 92 overall, a beautiful, crisp offense that is very hard to stop. NY and its aggressive defense has a shot Monday night to give Alexander their first TVC loss. And over for the boys, Vinton County is scary. Their only loss came to the Spartans on their best offensive night, and Vinton County had an off night. It was hard rating NY so low, but their 8 wins have come against teams with a combined win percentage of 30.4%. Now, the Trimble Tomcats were the only team above 500 the Buckeyes have beat this season, but we're going to talk about it with Trimble reporter Anthony Alaco. What's shaking up in the Hawking standings?
Well, with Miller sitting at 6-4, a full 3 games behind Trimble heading into the last week of the season, the Tomcats and the Waterford Wildcats are in a two-team race right now. Trimble's loss to Waterford came on January 6th, and it came in the middle of a tough 4-game losing stretch, and that handed the Tomcats all but one of their losses. And they haven't been nearly as dominant as they have in recent years. And Waterford came in at number 10 in this week's state AP poll. A win in that upcoming game could very well lock up the Hawking for the Wildcats over the Tomcats this week.
Now, Tuesday, it's going down. Number 1 versus number 2. I mean, what's it look like, man?
Well, I don't think I could oversell it enough, Eric. I mean, that game is going to decide the Hawking crown. And Waterford's conference schedule has Miller, Belpre, Eastern, and Southern left. And you can see how they fared against the top teams in the Hawking. I mean, they've been dominating the games, and it could very well be the end of Trimble's Tomcats' hopes in the Hawking if they lose that game.
They have been tough and consistent over the years. Now, what about the girls? Are they still struggling?
Well, if we look at the numbers, the girls aren't doing as well as they would have liked, and they're not in a good spot in the standings right now, but they just came off their toughest stretch of the season. They were on the road for 4 of their last 6 games, and 4 of them came against the top teams in the Hawking. And now, if you notice, one of those home games was against the Waterford Lady Wildcats, and so that's going to equal the most difficult span in their schedule.
Most definitely. Tough stretch, but how do they turn it around?
Well, they have Miller, Federal Hawking, and Grove City Christian coming up next. And they just took their beatings. They have a good picture of what needs to be executed. They turned the ball over a lot in that stretch and were taken advantage of by the pace of play from some of the top teams. In the next couple of games, they need to slow things down and take care of the basketball. If they make those adjustments, they could use this 4-game stretch to get a little bit better, and then they can match up against Eastern on February 9th to see where they're at heading into postseason ball.
Yeah, they still have time to make it happen. Anthony, thank you, sir. Now, we have fresh people, fresh segments, but we also have a fresh website at woub.org/heroes. There are a lot of games, a lot of teams, and a lot of coverage. We can only fit so much into our program, so check it out. You might learn something new about your own team and your rivals within the TVC. Now it's time for my favorite part of the program, which means we got to talk about Federal Hawking. FedHawk reporters Clark Wicks and Taylor Bruck join me. The girls have almost doubled their wins from last season, but Clark, man, the boys are still looking for win number 1.
It was another rough week for the boys, Eric. They dropped a close game against Eastern on Tuesday and then fell to Miller at home Friday night. Despite being the only team in the TVC without a win this season, the Lancers really are making progress.
Believe it or not, the Lancers led the Eagles throughout most of the game Tuesday night. It wasn't until late in the third quarter that Jet Facemeyer and the Eagles pulled ahead to seal the 10-point victory.
Exactly. This team just doesn't have much depth. Outside their starting 5, junior Chase Reed was the only player to come off the bench for the Lancers. While their starting 5 has improved tremendously, they just don't have the energy to play a full game.
You're right, Clark. Senior Deacon Hatfield was tasked with guarding Jet Facemeyer, and he did a really good job in the first half, holding him to only 8 points. But like you said, the fatigue really wore him down, and Jet capitalized on it to finish the game at 20 points. If the Lancers had found more players to contribute off the bench, they may have walked out with their first win of the season.
The boys almost pulled out the win, but the girls didn't fare much better than the boys this week, Eric. They only had one game this week, and it was against one of the best teams in the state, the Waterford Lady Wildcats. They struggled moving the ball up the court all night against a tough Waterford full-court press.
They really didn't have much of an answer against the press, Clark. They finished with 19 turnovers and the 40-point loss to the defending state champs. But with the toughest game of the season out of the way, the Lady Lancers look to finish the season strong.
Exactly. A 13-9 season for Federal Hawking honestly isn't as crazy as it may sound. Of the remaining games, all 5 teams have losing records. And just like the boys, these girls have made a ton of progress, and I see no reason why they can't win out.
Tomorrow night, the girls will travel to South Gallia, and then they host the Trimble Lady Tomcats Thursday night. The boys also have a matchup at South Gallia next week before they host Wahama.
South Gallia might be their last realistic chance to get a win on the board. They got to handle their business. Thank you both. Now, I don't know why we always transition from FedHawk to a first-place team, but it's cool. Waterford boys and girls have been a top Hawking team all year. I'm joined by Waterford reporter Nick Mullins. The Wildcats are tough, man. Tough. Who got work this week?
Well, Eric, the Waterford Lady Wildcats continued their dominance with the 63-23 win Monday night over the Federal Hawking Lady Lancers. Waterford started off hot and they never looked back. They were lights out from the field and just couldn't get anything going. They were so hot from behind the arc anywhere. 15 Wildcats, Lady Allie Kern had 15 points. Wildcats went up early and the Lancers missing a lot of shots and turning the ball over 19 times in this game. Waterford took advantage of the opportunities opened up in the transition game. This team looks to be rolling, and as our reporter Scott McDonald said last week, the Wildcats have needed to get a little bit more from their bench. And they've done just that. With another blowout win of 66-27 over Miller Thursday, they have been able to get so much from their bench and get a lot of good minutes. 9 of their girls have scored in both games. Don't let that trick you though. Allie Kern was absolutely dominant in the minutes she got. She ended the night with 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 6 assists. Megan Ball contributed 13 points. Their defense has also been stout this week, recording 19 of 25 takeaways.
They are tough, and they're the defending state champions for a reason. They have heavy expectations. But the boys are undefeated in their conference as well.
Well, Eric, you're absolutely right. The boys have gone a little bit under the radar because of how good the girls have been. They didn't have quite the season that they did last year, even though the girls won state, but the boys had 16-4. They were continuing what they did to have another great season.
So what's up then this year?
They're off to a slightly worse start, but they are 10-3 after the 77-54 win against South Gallia Thursday night and are on top of the TVC Hawking. And as Blake Baker will mention later, the Waterford boys have a lot of different options when it comes to having a great night. This team will have a lot of big games coming up and will definitely test whether or not they keep the #1 spot in the Hawking. They will be able to up against Trimble, Fort Fry, and Warren, and these teams will definitely give the Wildcats a challenge. Both teams have playmakers, which shows why the 4 out of the 5 games they've lost have only been by 3 points.
I mean, both teams in the top 10. Both #1 in their conference, undefeated in their conference. If you don't like what you hear, stop them. Thank you, Nick. Now, if you don't like reading our game stories on our website, that's cool. I've never been a big reader either. We still have something for you. Slide onto our YouTube page at WOUB PBS, where you'll find video recaps from myself, Blake, and our other reporters talking about what's going on in the Tri-Valley Conference. Now, I'll let y'all know in the beginning what my ratings were for each team. And as always, online host Blake Baker is here, and he takes it a little further. Now, if our teams were in a video game, what would they look like, man?
Well, I know you've heard of video game numbers, and we've seen some players and teams put that into practice so far this year. We had a couple 100-point games. So We thought, what if these guys were really in a video game? And that's kind of the basis of our segment this week. So I found interest in a couple teams in particular. So we'll start with the Eastern boys. They allow 56 points per game and they score 47. Overall, not great. We heard Coach Hill talk about their consistent struggles, but they do have a bright spot in Jet Facemeyer, who's been a consistent threat for him, Eric.
Good mid-range player, good finisher. In 2K, you would get the microwave badge, but on our program, you get the convection oven badge, and he's carried the squad this year.
Yeah, just to see his importance, you look at a game against Trimble last week where the Eagles overall took 45 field goals. He had 20 of them. They scored 44 points. He had 34 of them. So he's definitely that microwave for them. He's their consistent offensive threat, and they rely on him really heavily.
34 out of 44 points
Yeah.
is ridiculous. I mean, it speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything about that. Now, what about the Waterford boys?
We just heard about them too. They probably rival Vinton County boys for the deepest team that we cover in all the TVC. I have them at a 90 overall rating, and their starting 5 are all rated 80 or above. Like I said, they're perhaps the deepest team. They play so well together.
And it's like they all do everything good, and then they all have their specialization. You have guys like Travis Potmeyer, who I give him the European big man badge because he's a pick and pop type of player. You have Isaac Huffman, clacking people. I gave him the pokey poo badge because he's poking the ball away. I mean, they have so many players. Jordan Welsh, head honcho, he leads the team. So, I mean, you have everybody has their role and they do it all well together.
Yeah, and they're hungry for a win every single week. They've scored 80 plus points 4 different times, and they've allowed less than 40 points 3 different times. So they play well on both sides of the ball, and they play so well as a unit.
And another team that is trying to do the same thing and catch up, though, is the Nelsonville York girls. What you got about them?
Oh, they're one of the better teams we cover in the TVC Ohio. You know that. Jessie Addis is a spark plug for them. She plays so fast. She's got great hands on defense. She's the spark plug for them. Like I said, she's got a good supporting cast around her. Cameron Dupler, Sam Taylor, Mary Kate McCullough. They're lightning in a bottle.
They're all aggressive and tenacious. I love how they play, and they play hard. And it'll come in handy when they play Alexander Monday night.
That's a big matchup for them. We'll see how well they can do.
Oh, yeah, this segment was a lot of fun. We want to know what you guys think, man.
Yeah, viewers, players, do you think we're spot on? You think we're way off? Let us know. Your tweet at us. Let us know. Your feedback might show up on next week's episode.
Please tag us, man. Confront us. Catch me outside. Hey, no, I'm just playing. Hey, Blake, you the man. Thank you, sir. Now, it's all about having fun, but that's not the case in Athens. Both boys and girls are slumping. However, the Bulldogs are continuing their fight in the TVC. Reporters Taylor Nimmo and Nick Ursini are here to break down the week for the Bulldogs.
Both of the Bulldogs teams started the week off with wins, but first, let's talk about the girls. The Lady Bulldogs started their week out with a 53-49 win over the River Valley Raiders on Monday.
It was a bitter redemption for the Lady Bulldogs, Taylor. River Valley defeated Athens 42-35 on December 12th. In fact, that was the last time the Raiders won a game. It was a back-and-forth contest all night long, with Athens securing their 4th win of the season. Laura Mandrake led the Lady Bulldogs from start to finish. She iced the game late with 2 two-pointers and 3 free throws late. She finished with 28 points. It was definitely a good one for the Bulldogs, and it was arguably the most complete game of the season for them. Now, they had a tougher challenge Thursday night against the Nelsonville York Lady Buckeyes. Taylor, how'd they do in that one?
Unfortunately for the Lady Bulldogs, they were not able to carry their momentum from the win on Monday to their game against Nelsonville York as they lost 67-38. Turnovers were killer for Athens. They had a total of 23 turnovers on Thursday night. Buckeyes had an early lead and they ran with it. Athens will try to redeem themselves as they head out to Meigs High School for their next game on Monday. So the girls' season has been full of ups and downs, but the boys are still in contention for a TVC Ohio crown. Do they keep their chances alive this week, Nick?
The Bulldogs are still clinging to a chance to win the TVC Ohio crown, but their chances took a bit of a hit. Tuesday night, though, they took care of business on a very special night for Star Griffin Lutz. Lutz scored his 1,000th point on January 13th and was honored pre-game for his achievement. Athens had no problem taking down the River Valley Raiders 81-47, snapping their 3-game losing streak. Lutz finished with 21 points in only 3 quarters of play. Now, we've seen that this team can be a championship caliber team, but it's kind of tough when you got a powerhouse like Vinton County on top of the TVC, and they faced off on Friday. How'd they do in that one?
The Bulldogs lost a tough one to the Vikings 85-52. Friday night was a tale of 2 halves. The first half, the 2 teams kept it close. Athens even held a lead for the good majority of the first half. However, after halftime, it was a totally different game. Vinton County found their rhythm, and boy did they take off. Tristan Bartow had plenty of offensive action. I mean, does this guy miss? He finished the game with 37 points. He was pulled out of the game with a little over 5 minutes left, just 9 points short of breaking a school record for most points in a game.
Now, although it was a tough loss for Athens, don't rule them out just yet. They're still just 1 game back for the TVC Ohio title.
That's exactly right, Nick. Look out for the boys as they will travel to Meigs for their next conference game on Tuesday.
Yeah, the Bulldogs, they got to get after it. Meigs is no joke. Thank you, guys. Now, if you can't get enough Griffin Lutz, I got you. Nick Ursini has the tweet of the week. Griffin Lutz is always putting in work for Athens. He's been in dog mode for 4 straight years, and he was recognized for his 1,000-point career before with the Bulldogs' 34-point victory against River Valley on Tuesday. Griffin's a cool dude, and I know this will be a memory that Lutz, his family, and the Athens community will smile for years to come. Now, there are smiles all around Vinton County. The boys are in first place, dominating the TVC. Catherine Mormey is on desk with me to share the story behind the smiles.
That man is Vinton County's head coach, Matt Combs. He recently overcame his battle with cancer over the summer and is now leading his team in a nearly perfect season. Coach Matt Combs is the heart and soul of Vinton County basketball. This season is his 17th here at Vinton County. The Vikings currently sit at the top of the TVC with 14 wins and only 1 loss. This ranks them 6th in the entire state in Division II in the most recent AP polls. With a record like this, it may come as a shock that Coach Combs was diagnosed with lymphoma this past June, a type of cancer which affects the lymph nodes. At just 41 years old, Combs went to the doctor thinking he had a hernia or a pulled muscle. After some testing at Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center, doctors found the pain was due to swollen lymph nodes, an indication of lymphoma. They began testing.
Through about probably 25 days or so of treatments, off and on, and that was pretty much it, you know. And you see people a lot worse off, and again, makes you thankful for what you have, and so far so good.
While Coach Combs was in treatment, basketball at Vinton County never stopped, even when the players first found out.
Inside, it kind of crushed me, man. We love Combs, and the whole community loves Combs, but we knew without a doubt he was getting through it, no problem. And look at him, he's looking great, just as good as always. So we had confidence in him.
I don't really think he changed. I mean, from last year to this year, he's still as enthusiastic as he was. I mean, same person, really, I guess.
The team welcomed back their coach with open arms and continued dominating on the hardwood.
You know, really, people talk about beating cancer or fighting cancer, and you do have to have some willpower, but it's really the grace of God, just to get you through it. I mean, because there's a lot of people that fight hard and never get through it because it's just a nasty disease, but I was fortunate and lucky, really.
And he's lucky to have a team and community who care so much about him. When I spoke to Coach Combs and asked him to comment, he mentioned how thankful he is to the Vinton County School District for supporting him and giving him the time off he needed. He also mentioned how much he appreciated all of the texts and letters he received from community members who had his back through his battle, this time off the court, with lymphoma.
Yeah, I know we at Hardwood Heroes, we also have your back, Coach. Catherine, thank you. Now, everyone is chasing the Vikings, including the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. 1 conference win this season, and with only a few games left in the season, they got to get it going. I'm joined by NY reporter Thomas Garver, who is here to talk about the beating the Buckeyes took on Tuesday.
Well, Eric, the Buckeyes ran into a buzzsaw in the form of the Vikings Tuesday night. Alexander poked the Vinton County Beast, and that Beast responded by scoring 100 points to blow past the Buckeyes 100-52.
Now, how did the Vikings expose the Buckeyes?
The Buckeyes tried to match up with the size of the Vikings, but it did to no avail. The Buckeyes' added size in the lineup had no impact on junior guard Nalen Yates, who paced the Vikings with 27 points in this one.
Now, a near 50-point victory. I mean, it isn't all offense. How did Vinton County's defense shut down the Buckeyes?
Eric, they must have heard who your hero of the week pick was last week because the Vikings shut down NY forward Aaron Davis. The Vikings forced him to miss his first 9 shots of the game, and he finished with just 9 points. The Viking size was too much for Davis and for running mate Hunter Edwards, who both struggled to find open shots.
I mean, they're running out of time. What do the Buckeyes need to do to get back on track?
Well, Eric, the Buckeyes will have to get things taken care of on defense because when you give up 100 points, you simply have a slim chance of winning.
Now, NY had to face Vinton County after the Vikings' first loss, and it wasn't pretty, but what about the Lady Buckeyes?
The Lady Buckeyes were able to get back on track this week with key wins over Meigs and Athens.
I mean, they're winning basketball games. But they still have issues to resolve.
Jessie Addis continues to struggle for NY. She hasn't been herself the past few weeks as she's been limited on the court. I talked to Coach Bob Cassidy after the game against the Bulldogs, and he told me that Addis has been dealing with a hamstring injury, which could explain her ineffectiveness as of late. The Lady Buckeyes will need their leader at full strength going forward down the stretch.
But like I said before, they're still winning ball games. Who stepped up for Addis?
The Lady Buckeyes got big performances from a trio of players in their recent win over Athens as Cameron Dugler, Mary Kay McCullough, and Sam Taylor all were in double figures. It will be vital for these three to continue to step up and provide a scoring punch for the Lady Buckeyes not at 100% if they want to make a deep title run, Eric.
All right, now let the people know what's going down on Monday.
The Lady Buckeyes square off with the Lady Spartans on Monday, so it's a must-win for the Lady Buckeyes if they want to stay in the title hunt, Eric.
Big games all around the TVC. Thanks, Thomas. Now, Facebook is another form of social media where you can find extra information. You get the best of both worlds. You get stories, you get video recaps, and it's just another way we like to get our information out. So check us out on Facebook. Let's talk about the Megs Marauders. Both boys and girls are trying to be consistent, put it all together. Megs reporter Joe Hennessy is on desk with me. Mr. Hennessy, what's popping in Pomeroy?
Eric, the Lady Marauders beat the teams they should and lose to teams that put up a battle. The Vinton County Vikings are 6-10, and Megs showed their team's potential by beating them 47-38. As for the game against Nelsonville York, who is 13-4, Megs lost 56-40. What has happened?
I mean, they get sloppy. And I mean, it's one of the issues that they have to fix.
But when they play tough opponents like NY, their inexperience really does come out. The opposing teams take advantage. It doesn't help their cause that NY was balling out either. But someone must have let the door open because it was raining threes in the gym on Monday.
Oh man, I mean, you hear it all the time. How do they fix their issues?
Well, they have to play as a team. They are led by Cassidy Betsing, but they need more players to rise up. But that will happen with time. Basketball is a game of runs too. If they can maximize on their opportunities and minimize the opponents, they have a better chance of getting wins. Whatever they did when they played Vinton County, they need to do that every game.
Now, it is time to figure it out. What about for the boys? They had a win over Wellston at home last Friday. They had Alexander this week, and the Spartans had just beat Vinton County. They were feeling themselves. How did they fare?
Well, they beat them 61-50 and got their 10th win of the season. Their defense played really well, and their offense was clicking Friday night. For the offensive side of the ball, the teamwork against Alexander was phenomenal. The turnover slowed the Surges, but 4 players scored in double digits. Luke Muster led with 15 points, Zach Bartram had 14, Christian Maddox finished with 12, and Dylan Marr contributed with 10. That's 51 points just for those 4. As for the defense, the zone was on point. The defense was flying around and forcing turnovers and tough shots. Alexander scored 50 points, which isn't low, and it was not like Alexander offense was cold, but the aggressive defense of the Marauders affected the Spartans' shots and ball movement enough to pull away with a W.
I mean, they got some momentum now. This win streak, and Athens is up next. There's no time to play games. Great work, Hennessy. Appreciate you. Now, another team with a big game this week is Alexander. The girls are on fire. Now, as of Friday, their 11-game winning streak is the longest in our coverage. Chloe Sakovitz, I'm going to let y'all try and say that one at home, and Maggie Shandrick are here to share some Lady Spartan knowledge with us.
You're right, Eric. The Alexander girls are currently riding on an 11-game winning streak, and they aren't even thinking about ending it anytime soon.
Their offense is versatile. They can hit the 3-ball, but they can also get easy transition layups. The Lady Spartans are winning games by a margin of 31 points, and they're doing this by scoring an average of 60, as their defense is holding their opponents to about 30 points a game.
These stats can't even do this team justice, though. Their starting 5 has great chemistry. They know where to find each other on the court, and not one player is doing all the work. Everyone chips in, which is a main reason why this team is so successful.
Their games this week can be summed up with 2 words: total domination. Vinton County and River Valley just couldn't take the heat, and their full court press tires out their opponents, giving Alexander early first quarter leads. Coach McKnight relies on player Kenna Rice for her speed and to get those quick transition layups. These girls are just getting started as they prepare themselves game in and game out for a long postseason run in March.
They aren't the only ones with dreams of playing in March. It'll be great competition. The boys, however, are 500. What do they need to do in order to go deep into the playoffs?
The Spartans need to be ready to play at tip-off. The past few games, they have found themselves fighting the score early and have had to play from behind. In their game against Wilson, they were down 17-14 at halftime and then down 7 at the beginning of the 4th quarter. They outscored Wilson in the 4th and ended up winning 45-38, but the boys need to start hot from the beginning because once they start playing better teams, they won't be able to play catch-up.
The same was true for their game against Megs Maggie, except they fell short on the comeback 61-50. But they are seeing positive improvements throughout the team, as Michael Norris has been very efficient on D, holding Wellston's point guard to 2 points. And Ryan Davidson had a huge game, scoring 17 points with 5 threes. Everyone needs to start contributing to this team in one way or another in order to pick up a few more dubs before this season ends.
I mean, who wants it more? It's about to get real. It's always a pleasure hearing y'all spit your Spartan knowledge. Thank you. Rebound. I liked the segment last week with Waterford, so we decided to bring it back for the Lady Eagles. I'm going to say a word, and Eastern reporter Joe Fracasso is going to tell me what that word means to his team. Joe, your first word is backbone.
All right, Eric, if you're going to say backbone, I'm going to have to say starters. The Lady Eagles, they have 5 very solid players that you could look at any point in the game to make a difference. At this point, there's nothing else that we can say about how good Laura Pullins is. She's not only the offensive leader, but also she has now taken over the reins as a defensive leader, and she's honestly just as good as anyone else that we cover in the TVC. Then the Lady Eagles have a solid low post presence that most teams simply do not have in Liz Collins. You pair those two with Jess Parker, Allison Bailey, and Becca Pullins, who can all hit big shots, especially from three-point land. You've got about as solid as a starting 5 as it gets.
I mean, everybody is dangerous and they play well together. Now, the starters are the backbone, but everybody has their issues. Your next word is issue.
All right, if you're going to have to say issue, which the Eagles don't have much of, I'm going to have to say that it is their depth. With the big question mark on if Madison Williams will be able to come back or not, Eastern only has 8 players on their roster. On top of that, the Lady Eagles only really go 6 deep into the rotation unless they do get into foul trouble. Now against good teams like Waterford and other contenders heading down into the playoffs, this could really hinder the Eagles' chances of making a state title run.
Now you say state title. They've been there before. So your final word is championship.
Eric, you're putting me on the spot here, but I'm going to have to say possible. Now, I know it sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but I don't want to say it's impossible, and I also don't want to say it's probable either. Honestly, I see Waterford as Eastern's biggest competition to obviously regain that TVC crown, and then the state crown as well. These two teams play on Monday in what could be the game of the year. If Eastern's able to use Liz down low, spread the defense out with their shooting, I could see the Lady Eagles going pretty far in the playoffs.
And that's what they expect to do. They have space in their gym for another banner. They got to go through Waterford, man. Give me something quick about Waterford.
Waterford, man, they're scary. That's my word to describe Waterford. Honestly, this matchup is going to be insane. I see the Lady Eagles being able to pressure down low, use Liz Collins, like I said, and then have Laura take over, obviously, because she's got to score. That matchup between her and Allie Kern is going to be insane.
Monday night, man. Monday night. Joe, thank you, sir. Now, Eastern busted Wahama, and there were a lot of Lady Eagles that could be our hero. Blake, what's up, man? It's time to reveal the heroes of the week. I don't remember the order, so you take it away.
Yeah, you said heroes of the week, and this week belonged to the best 1-2 punch in the TVC. It's rare we pick more than one hero, but it's also rare to see a string of games like Tristan Bartow and Naylin Yates have put together. They combined for 102 points this week, and the Vikings scored 185 as a team. Bartow had 37 points on 79% shooting Friday night, 79%, and Yates averaged a smooth 25 points in 2 conference contests this week. It was a big bounce-back week after the Vikings suffered a loss last week, and they were the driving forces, Bartow and Yates. Vinton County is racking up these honors at this part of the show, but it's tough to keep Bartow and Yates out of the conversation with weeks like they had this one.
Wow. I mean, watching them work in person was a treat. 2 of the best in our coverage. My hero comes from the Hawking, though, Miss Allie Kern. When you think of the word versatility, you think of someone that can do it all. 19, 10, 6, and 5. That means she scores from inside and out. I mean, she boxes out, secures rebounds, she sets her teammates up, and you don't score on her. And Allie Kern is one of the many reasons why Waterford is so tough. Waterford, man, they are a scary team, both boys and girls, and it's going to be interesting to see how this race shakes out. But it's time to shut it down. Thank you, Blake, for your hero. Keep up with all of our content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. Follow your boy as well at Junior_3. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. I'm your host, Eric Treat II, reminding you to be heroic.